got Ashton with another interview for the Meet Your Peers segment.
All right, first, I'm Gavin Henry. I'm the current president for 2014-2015 school year, and this is...
I'm Justin Davis. I'm part of the Economic Empowerment Committee for Collegiate 100.
All right, and today is, of course, 9/11, and what we wanted to do was have a candlelight vigil to take a moment of silence for those that were lost, and just for remembrance, and making those who were lost and those family members that are still affected, to let them know that nobody has forgotten. Justin, you spearheaded this event?
I did. Like Evo was saying, like we did come up with this event for remembrance of 9/11. It was just to let people know that we still care. Like we're still in the community, we're caring about 9/11, the people that lost their lives for 9/11, which was a tragic event. Every member was here involved, you know, with the event as well. And we had a good turnout, the candlelighting, the moment of silence, the quotes. We read a couple quotes and poems. Willie read a couple poems for us as well.
But tomorrow we have Project Hope, where we're going out into the streets of Columbus and we're feeding the homeless. And then Saturday, I have Tevin over here. Tevin, come here for me real quick, Tevin.
I'm here.
Tell them about our event that we're doing Saturday. What's the name of that event, Tevin?
Saturday we'll be having a field day event. We're gonna get all the kids from the Columbus area, from the Boys and Girls Club and Big Brother Big Sister, and basically we're gonna bring them here, show them what it's like to be a college kid, as well as do very fun activities with them. We're gonna play football with them, play basketball.
If there's anybody interested in joining the Collegiate 100, please come on out. If you see me ever, stop me, be like, what's the Collegiate 100? What do y'all do? You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. If you need to email me, my email is simple. Last name Henry.
Thanks, Ashton. It's always nice to meet a new student on CSU's campus. Talking about meeting new people, I actually got to meet Monica Kaufman this week, the first female and African American to work as a news anchor in the Atlanta market.
Yes, the comm department was extremely proud to host the first annual speaker series featuring Monica Kaufman. Ashton Merriweather has more on the story.
Hello everyone, I'm honored to be here with Mrs. Monica Pearson. As an Atlanta native, I grew up watching her with John Pruitt as well as Jovita Moore, and just growing up in the Atlanta area, that was all I knew. You know, WSTV News and Channel 2 Action News every day at 6 p.m. That's what I tuned into.
Well, thank you.
Now I have the opportunity to interview this wonderful woman. How are you doing today?
Ashton, I am doing great.
Okay, we're going to start off by asking you, how did you start off in the broadcast field?
Well, I started out first in newspapers. I was a newspaper reporter, and then I did a little bit of public relations. Then I got a job in television. And before I knew it, I was offered a job here in Atlanta first to work for a station for the noon show. And I didn't get it because they didn't think I was polished enough. And then 2 months later, WSB called me and said, we'd like for you to do our 6 o'clock news. And it was at a time when there were no women and there were no people of color doing the 6 o'clock news, which is your bread and butter show. So it just shows you sometimes a no is a delay until something better comes along.
As an Atlanta native, I know that you're a breast cancer survivor.
Right, 17 years.
Yes. So what other struggles have you dealt with to get to this point in your life?
Well, I think in the beginning it was being a woman doing a job that had traditionally been a man's job. It was very hard for the audience, both black and white, to accept a woman on the anchor team and not as a weather girl. I can remember during a time when Wes Sargentson was my anchor, and I reached over and touched him during a story, and I got calls afterwards saying, you don't know your place. You're not supposed to touch a white man. What's wrong with you? And that wasn't that terribly long ago. You know, it wasn't that long ago. So when I look at how far we've come, no TV station in the Atlanta area would think about not having a woman on the show. And what's so exciting now to see women and women of color in positions that they did not hold before, whether it be in weather, whether it be as an investigative reporter, not just anchoring, but as assistant news directors, as producers. So a lot has changed since I first got into the business. But struggles just make you stronger. There's a reason for it. And now that I look back, if I had not succeeded, how long would it have taken for a woman to finally get into that position. But I did two things when I first came to Atlanta that helped. I immediately got the church, because you need that as your base. And then I started giving speeches everywhere, because when people get to know you, then they like you or dislike you, but at least they'll know you. And they tune in just because you've been to their school, you've been to their church, you've been to their event. And then you become important to them, they become loyal viewers. So I think what I did off the air actually gave me the longevity that I did have by being involved in the community. I became involved in people's lives, so they would call me Great Story Abby. So I don't really emphasize the struggles. I will say this, had there been social media back then, I don't know if I would have been able to stay. The reason, ratings then were done, over the telephone. Now we do everything on the computer, in our phone, and people can say immediately how they feel about something. And stations that do research oftentimes use what they learn from social media in making decisions about people. So if we had had social media then, the negatives that I caught from the telephone would have probably been overwhelming. So I came around at the right time.
Let me ask you this. Are you a Bulldogs fan?
Of course, I just graduated from the University of Georgia. I got my master's degree in journalism and mass communication. My area of study was media studies, because I will be teaching starting October the 14th at Atlanta Metropolitan State College. I'll be teaching an introduction to communications class, but I'm hoping to teach full-time somewhere between now and time. It's a little bit of a drive for me. But if I lived a lot closer, I would, because I love the atmosphere here, and I love what you all are doing in the public service area, actually producing spots for community groups and making a difference. So you all are learning how to do your craft, but more importantly, you're helping your community too. So it's a great, I like Dr. Hannah, that's what I call her, Dr. Hannah. She's a little fireball.
Yeah, she is. I see that you recently got a radio show.
Yes. On KISS 104.1, Atlanta's best R&B. It's really a throwback. When I was in high school, I used to do radio for WLOU.
Do you like that better? Yeah.
Actually, yes, because I have more control of my product. I produce the show, then I have a music producer. I tell him what the topic will be, and he pulls the music for the show. So I've done everything from the gay OBGYN, who talked about the U, the G, and the A spot, and talked about transgender health, and talked about AIDS, to doing a show with Whoopi Goldberg the other day. So I can do entertainment, I can do serious topics like prostate cancer or breast cancer. I can do controversial topics, interracial dating and marriage, and how does that affect the child from that union. I mean, anything. So I don't have to do what my assignment editor wants me to do. I'm my assignment editor, so I love the freedom of it.
Okay. So what advice would you give, like, aspiring news anchors like myself?
Well, first of all, I would say I hope you would aspire to be a reporter first and an anchor second, because the best anchors were first good reporters. People who like to research, who like to interview, who like to write, who love to take pictures and spin a narrative around them, telling stories to the people who are going to be affected most by that story. And so I say, whenever you meet someone, interview them. If you want to be a good reporter, that means you've got to get comfortable asking questions, and that you never meet strangers. So I love telling people, interview everybody you meet. And then I would say, look at television news, read the newspaper, and listen to radio. And listen and read how they tell the same story but in different ways. And then evaluate for yourself which was the best of the three. And then I would say, take a story from the newspaper and read it and ask, what questions did the reporter ask to get this information? Because that again teaches you how to interview and how to prepare. And then I would try to rewrite that story. I used to do this all the time. Rewrite the story for television and think about what visuals would I use. And then I would write it for radio, and what audio tones or sounds or what would I need to get it across to the radio audience. So how would I write this story for the next day for the newspaper? What angle would I pull from the story to take it forward the next day. So my best advice is to practice what you say you want to do.
Well, tonight we know that you're going to be speaking about media and civil life, like the relationship between media and civil life.
I'm not sure that's what my speech is about. What it really, I sat down and really tried to come up with a good speech about media's responsibility. But the more I kept thinking about it, it's really the reporter's responsibility to the public. Because we make up media. So my comments are really aimed more at what we, those of us involved in the media, should be doing to make sure we cover stories well, to make sure we do investigative reports that make a difference, and to be sure we live by a code of ethics. So I'm kind of sort of off the topic, but to me, I'm here for students and not here for the community at large. I want you all to be the next generation of good storytellers who make changes through the stories they do, where people make decisions about their lives based on how you did a story, who to vote for, whether or not you're going to have a new school built based on how the reporter told the story, whether or not you're going to care about a Meals on Wheels program. So my remarks tonight really are going to be more aimed at students than they are the general population. Now, when I speak to the Rotary Club tomorrow, I'm going to be wearing a much different hat. There will be some people in the media who are not going to be happy with me tomorrow because I love the way you all dressed up the title. My title was How to Get the Media, and somehow it became How to Get the Media Coverage You Desire. No, it's How to Get the Media, telling people what is news, how you can get it possibly covered, alternative methods to coverage on television, because everybody wants to be on TV, but sometimes you get better coverage. Yes, on social media. That's my point exactly. So tomorrow is going to be where I become the traitor. You know, when a reporter walks in your office, if they have a cell phone, they could be recording you. So, camera could be on and you not know it. Always assume you're on the record. Don't put anything on your desk you wouldn't want anyone to read upside down and backwards. So I'm going to share some of the tricks of the trade.
Well, thank you. We look forward
welcome
to
Ashton.
your speech tonight. Thank you so much. We're honored to have you here. And that's it.
Thanks to Ashton to covering such a monumental event for CSU. And next we have Will with the sports.
For CSU TV, this is Will DeBoer. This past weekend, the Columbus State campus played host to the volleyball CSU Cougar Invitational. The 8-team, 12-match, 2-day tournament resulted in a 2-1 record for our Lady Cougars, improving their overall record to 3-5. Here now from the team after a Friday night win over Mars Hill. This video features Coach Cornett and game stars Kylie Bobian and Mary McCarty.
We came out a little bit slower than I wanted. We were still fighting some old habits, but I think we finally found that little niche. I'm hoping we found that niche that really makes us tick as a team. I think we started off kind of momentum with the block, which kind of put us on a roll, and we were able to throw off the other team, which is what we wanted to do.
The biggest difference between the first game and the last three were, I just think towards the end, we just started trusting each other. We started playing for each other instead of worrying about, how well we were doing. It was just came together.
Hopefully they feed off of that last set, and so they're able to roll right into tomorrow. I'd like to say that they've learned from their mistakes, but at this point we're just trying to find that consistency, and hopefully when they go in tomorrow, they're amped up over this win and can go right into starting off strong like they didn't do this first set.
I think we're getting better to where we're more confident. I think that's what we lacked in our first couple games, is that we didn't have enough confidence, not only in each other but in ourselves. And so I think this game we came out with a lot more confidence and just kick butt.
Pfeiffer, I think, is a team that's still trying to rebuild. They've been struggling a little bit, so it should be an easy win for us. However, again, if we don't play our games, we'll struggle. North Ryan is a regionally ranked team. I mean, they are somebody that we're going to have to step up to beat.
Volleyball is off until the next home match on September 24th against Georgia Regents University. On to soccer now. The CSU women's soccer team turned a weekend excursion to Pensacola into a good clean sheet beach party. The Lady Cougars took down Texas A&M Commerce 2-0 on Friday night and then shut out 9th-ranked Rollins 1-0 on Sunday morning. Goalkeeper Malin Parsons posted both shutouts for the 20th-ranked Lady Cougars, while Cassandra Wade's goal with 90 seconds remaining in the Rollins match proved to provide the difference. The goal was Wade's first career collegiate goal. The team keeps busy this week with 2 weekend trips, Wednesday at Lee and Saturday at Armstrong. The men's cross-country team won the Bobcat Invitational in Milledgeville on Friday night, while the women's cross-country team took second. Raina Green won her second consecutive women's meet, while Heath Lamb and the men won their second straight team meet. For all things CSU athletics, including news, schedules, and streaming information, visit csucougars.com. Until next time, I'm Will DeBoer for CSU TV.
Thank you, Will. Once again, we have wrapped up another exciting episode of CSU News. I'm Sharifa Jackson.
And I'm Mark Madd. Stay tuned for the weather and your event calendar. Until next time, CSU.